In my last video, I said that there is a gap the size of a black hole between low entropy energy coming from the sun and the creation of life on Earth. Let me put some detail into that gap a little bit with an article that I find fascinating from National Geographic. It was published April 21st, 2016. So it's not a real recent article, but I think it's fascinating. Let's just plow into it. A group of scientists led by Craig Venter thought, what is the simplest life form that we could possibly come up with? Life is not simple. The human cell has more than 20,000 genes. Fruit flies have 13,000 genes. Yeast cells, even yeast cells, have 6,000 genes. But what could we find that would be the smallest number of genes in a living organism? There is a bacterium in a goat, in the stomach of a goat, that has 525 genes. So a group of scientists led by Craig Venter said, let's take that organism and remove genes from it one at a time. If it dies, do it again and don't remove that gene. And let's see how few genes we can come up with that will still leave us with a living organism. To make a short story even shorter, they came up with a living organism with 473 genes. That's pretty fantastic, but here's what I find so interesting about the article. Of those 473 genes, there are 79 of them. They have no idea the function of those genes. The article says, the scientific community has been basically suffering from the delusion that we did know all of biology, Venter says. We're truly like aliens from another planet trying to work out what these parts do. And a little further down, how could the simplest life form ever be 1/3 unknown? But now what I find really interesting, toward the end of the article, there's a one-sentence paragraph that says, life may not be machine-like. We may be orchestral. And toward the end, for too long, Venter thinks, biologists concentrated on genes for this and genes for that. We can't just look at the function of a gene, he says. What those 79 mysterious genes may be doing, some of them anyway, is they may be pulling the parts together so they fit, compose, and hum themselves into being. In other words, the genome has to be complete with all the genes to function. You can't put it together one piece at a time and create life. So then I come back to the statistics. According to Venter, the simplest life form that we can construct has 473 genes. And those genes must be put together all at the same time. Life is a product of the complete genome. What are the statistics of a 73 gene life form being generated spontaneously, complete, all at one time? Do you see why I say that gap is the size of a black hole? An incredible example of the science of the gaps fallacy.